Thank you for tuning in to the best parenting show on the internet, Post Daily Dose.
It's the Post. It's the Post. It's the Post. The Post Daily Dose. It's the Post. It's the Post. It's the Post. The Post Daily Dose. It's the Post. It's the Post.
Hey, good evening, Facebook family, and welcome to another episode of Post Daily Dose with me, your trusted parenting advisor, faithful guide, and servant on the healing journey. What's my name? Big Papa Brian+Post. I hope everyone's doing fantastic this Friday evening. I'll keep my voice down a little bit. I've got a family I'm visiting, and they're napping. It's been a emotional day. It's so interesting. I'm in Temecula, and there hadn't been like a lot of emotion, but there's been a lot of energy. So everyone's been kind of whew. And but it's been a fantastic day. It's been a great day, so it's been good. Hey Gareth, no hurts today. No hurt stories today, but down with hurts, everyone. I want to finish up our 10-part series on everything, 10 things every foster parent should know for National Foster Care Awareness Month. And today we're going to talk about when it's time to make a move. And what made me think about this is actually I did some consulting for a school today here in Temecula, and the principal I was talking to was asking about, hello there, Opal Fayetta. The principal I was talking to was asking about the aid, and if the aid, this child has one-on-one support and is connected to this support person, this aid, and she said we didn't know if we need to go ahead and bring the child someone new because she's maybe too familiar with this one aid, or if we should be able to if we should just leave it for now and worry about a transition later. I'm glad you made it to Alabama, Mama. Told the family all hello. So think about that. Think about that question, that concern. The concern is that, the child feels too connected to the aid, and should they get a new aid for the child to help the child, I guess, learn how to transition? I don't know for sure how all that is, but I suggested that they leave the current aid in place because that's the significant regulatory bond for the child, and that when it is time for that aid to make a move somewhere else or whatever, life circumstances happen, that they then help that aid transfer that regulatory bond to the next adult. So see, that's a lot of times what doesn't work well in foster care with foster children are transitions. We get way too stressed and we make moves way too fast, and it becomes not just disruptive to the child, but it becomes another trauma in their lives. And foster children already have transition traumas anyway. You have to imagine that first break from that biological figure is a traumatic break. So foster children have a lot of difficulties around transitions to begin with. And then I think that also when we don't really frame it in the context of a foster parent helping transfer their regulatory bond to the new adoptive family or the next foster family, and Sesame Street called it the right now parents, from the right now parents to the next set of right now parents, and hopefully forever parents, forever family, I think it can create some reservations for foster parents as far as their connections go, because who wants to get connected and then lose that connection? And I'm just going to tell you that your role as a foster parent is to help the child feel safe and secure. And safety and security is not just a physical experience. Safety and security is also an emotional experience. It is a cognitive experience, and it is also a cellular experience. So that safety and security supersedes just, a safe physical environment and safe, mature adults. It is safety in the child's deep cellular system. I always talk about there are only two primary emotions. There's love and there's fear. Love is a thriving energy that your cells experience. Fear is a surviving energy that your cells experience. So anytime you're stressed and in a state of fear, you constrict. And so anytime a child is living in an environment of stress and trauma, they constrict into survival. And the role of the foster parent is to help provide sometimes the first environment for that child to feel safe at a cellular level. So they are safe both physically, they are safe cognitively, they are safe emotionally, and they are safe at a cellular, energetic, vibratory level. So love the child, love the child, love the child, do your best, help them feel safe on every possible level, and when the time comes that they have to transition, be a proactive part of the transition. Go meet the other family, take the child to meet the other family, have the other family come over to your home for dinner and game night, and then when it's time for the child to go spend the night, you go spend the night over there with them. Stay there, stay connected, be involved. Don't fear. Don't fear. The child should have the biggest amount of fear. We as the adults shouldn't be consumed with fear and then allow us to push the child into someone else's life and someone else's home without us continuing our role. And continuing our role in that relationship is to transfer that regulatory bond, transfer that security onto another set of parents who can help that child continue to feel safe and secure. So I want to just say, as number 10, as we close out the series, foster parenting is a big deal. Sometimes your role as a foster parent in a child's life, and you're showing up in this child's life at the time you show up with them, is sometimes the safest place they've ever experienced in their life. And it can be a very challenging thing to help a child feel safe when they've experienced that much consistent fear in their lives. So I commend you for the job that you do as a foster parent, and just want to encourage you to continue learning about trauma. Keep tuning in to Post Daily Dose. Go back and look at all the other videos. And also I want to say, everything I'm talking about, it is applicable to all children, to all families. It doesn't matter if you're a biological family, doesn't matter if it's a biological child, adopted child, a foster child, or a kinship placement. We have grandparents out there who are foster parenting and who also become adopted parents. And that's really the situation where I'm at right now. We're spending time with this family, is that their grandparents who've adopted their granddaughters. Same thing with my mom. She adopted my nephew when he was little. And so, it all applies across the board. Okay. Gary says transitions are predictable. They can be mitigated with preparation. Yes, make transitions predictable, because transitions oftentimes for these children, the reason they become traumatic in nature is because they've been so unpredictable. So we have the ability to help make transitions predictable. And before I go, something that's really significant today when I met with the school is I asked on several occasions, I kept hearing the teachers say, this child is so unpredictable, so unpredictable, so unpredictable. So I said, okay, well, I'm hearing how unpredictable she is. Tell me on a percentage, how much of the time is she predictable versus unpredictable? And they said she's probably predictable 60% of the time, and probably 40% of the time she's unpredictable. I said, that's fantastic. So what we want to do, and what I'd like to be able to help you all achieve today, is within this next half hour to an hour, I want to give you an understanding of this child that allows us to cut that 40% in half. So think about that. Instead of thinking that I have to help the school predict this child's behavior 100% of the time, what if I just help them cut the 40% of time that they see her as unpredictable. I just cut that in half. That reduces her negative outbursts, that it reduces her negative experiences in school, that reduces the other children's negative experience of her, the teacher's challenges and stress with her, reduces all that by 50%. Bam, just like that. And I think we did that. Let me tell you one of the ways we did that. And I'm gonna keep this in connection with the transitioning topic. One of the things I said to the one-on-one worker, in my opinion, the one-on-one worker is the holy grail for children who struggle in school. If you can advocate enough to get that one-on-one, I think you've got the ideal opportunity to help your child feel the most regulated in the school. And it actually struck a chord because I realized there's probably a real shortage of educational resources out there for one-on-one workers. So in the very near future, I'm gonna write an article, or I'm gonna write a little handbook just for workers in schools that do one-on-one, because their role is so important, because they become the primary regulatory figure. And so I said to the aide, based on some of the things I'm hearing about these transition points becoming really challenging. One of the first things I said to her is, I said, do you have mom and dad's phone number? And she said no. So the aide, the person who's spending the most time with the child in the school, didn't have mom and dad's phone number. Mom and dad didn't have her phone number. So that was one of the first things I made happen. One of the second things I made happen is, anytime you're not going to be here, because just last week or earlier this week, they had a situation with the child where the aide wasn't there, so they had to use another person. So the child had a really bad day. See, that's that predictability. That's that transition, lack of transition communication. And so I said, anytime you're not going to be here because the schools get really hectic, could you just shoot a text to mom and dad and let them know? That way they can start preparing. Then I also said, for mom and dad, in the mornings when it's really tough, thank God this child's only 6 years old. We don't have to rush her to school. We don't have to feel, and I said this in the IEP meeting, we don't have to feel under the gun and pressured in thinking that we got to get this child to be on time, or she's going to get tardies or these absences. We can forget all that stuff. And both mom and dad both said, oh my God, we were just feeling that way today or yesterday. She said, I was just telling her, we're going to be late for school. Can you imagine the anxiety, the stress that's creating first thing in the morning, when we can just remove that? And I said, when she wakes up and she's stressed out at school, you guys just send the aide a text message and let them know you're going to be late. And then you guys spend time helping her to regulate and to feel better. And that way, when you bring her to school, because I said the aide referred to her coming into the school sometimes as coming in hot. I said, I don't want her coming into the school hot. If she's coming into the school hot, she doesn't need to be coming in. At best, she comes in warm. And I think this is a child that operates at about a 5 level of stress sensitivity all the time. So if you think about a volume now being 1 to 10, I think she's at about 5 most of the time. And I said, we're going to keep her warm. And the other thing I want you to experiment with is I want you to meet dad out at the vehicle. So then let dad transfer that regulatory bond from the vehicle. Then you can walk the child into school. If she's not all the way settled in the morning, you guys can take some time and you can walk around the school before you go into the classroom, because at 6, the main priority is helping the child learn to regulate in an environment of a lot of sensory and stress activation. And so then I just gave him a couple other tips and pointers, but I think that alone turned on enough light bulbs that's going to make a big difference in this child's life. If I can just help them notice the transitions, notice the signals. One of the first things is I went to the child's classroom, was observing. One of the first things that I noticed within 5 minutes is that she was putting her fingers in her ears. And most adults have this blueprint that's about a child being defiant or being disrespectful, when it has nothing to do with that at all. That's about a child trying to lower their sensory input. That tells me a child's trying to maintain their window of tolerance, probably moving closer towards their window of tolerance getting too small, even though she maintained herself the rest of the day, which is really cool. And it tells me that the parents have also put in a lot of solid work with this child. So just a couple of points I wanted to mention to you. I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. We won't have Post Daily Dose live, on the weekends. I think we will be reposting though. Some other ones, because I know we're at number 212 today. It's hard for people to go back and look at all those, so I think we'll repost on the weekends, and then I'll see you guys back here live on Monday. And I just hope you have a great, restful, blessed weekend. I love each and every one of you. I pray for you. Just pray for your peace, your restoration, your happiness, your joy. And remember, in any given situation, we always have two choices. We can continue to react from our same imprints of stress, fear, and overwhelm, or we can stop, we can slow down, we can take 5 to 10 deep breaths, and we can choose love. God bless everyone. We'll talk to you soon.